Hey guys, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel where we discuss all things living here in the great state of Maryland. And today, just wanted to give a quick real estate market update. It's been a little bit, the market's been crazy, and just wanted to let you know what I've been noticing over the last month or two here in the local market and in general as a whole, the real estate market. So the biggest thing that stands out is in the last couple of months, we have seen interest rates jump a good half half a percentage point. So today we are looking at interest rates right around a 30-year conventional, right around 6.75%, which is approaching that 7% range that we were in for a good span of time, about a couple years ago. So, we saw rates dip down closer to 6, even into the high 5s a little while back. Then it was hovering around 6 for a while. Now in the last couple months, we've seen that jump back up to 6.75 for a 30-year average, national average conventional mortgage. Now you've got your government loans, which is your VA and FHA, sitting right around 6.25. So you're always going to notice, that almost half a point spread between your government loans and your conventional loans. So just something to keep in mind as interest rates elevate and go higher. Obviously, that's going to negatively impact payment options, and it's going to elevate those payments for prospective buyers. We haven't seen a huge slowdown in demand, at least from how it feels in the marketplace. But again, it's just this delicate balance between, you've got on one hand you've got unaffordability in the marketplace. So a lot of people just feeling that pain of elevated payments due to all-time high prices, due to elevated interest rates. But on the other hand, you've got just very limited inventory. And so you've got this balancing act, right? Where it's like, it feels like, okay, with interest rates this high, prices should be coming down. Homes should be sitting on the market a long time. But on the other hand, you've got very few people listing their homes, right? So we continue to see units decline month after month. And in the most recent data, we saw that down about 3.25% year over year. So again, you just have less people listing their homes, less options. So even though there's less demand, more unaffordability in the marketplace than we've seen in recent years, you continue to see a lot of homes sell fast. Now, not every home, right? So the homes that are priced right, the homes that have been really well maintained, the homes that are turnkey, those homes are still selling a lot of times in the first weekend with a handful of offers. Now, if the home is a little bit above where it should be price-wise, if the home needs a little bit of work, that's where you're seeing those homes sit a little bit, and you could easily see those homes sit on the market 30 to 45 days, especially if they are not followed up with price reductions from sellers. So we're really kind of continuing to see a lot of what we have seen over the last year, which is you've got this limited inventory on the one hand. So you've got pressure on pricing, pressure on the market from that, but then you've also got these higher interest rates, which is negatively impacting demand. But as long as inventory stays low enough, we're really not seeing any major dips in pricing or anything in the marketplace. So again, just a lot going on, but you would expect to see pricing come down. You would expect to see changes in the marketplace with these elevated interest rates. But because so few people are listing their homes and we're continuing to see that low inventory in the marketplace, we are not seeing a huge dip in pricing. We have seen it moderate. So a lot of times in the last year, we were still seeing that 2 to 4% year over year appreciation on pricing. We saw that dip down to well under 1% in the most recent data from Maryland Association of Realtors. So we are seeing pricing, in my opinion, kind of plateau a little bit, but it is certainly not in any meaningful way going down at this time. All right, the other thing that I have noticed more so in the recent 6 to 12 months than I have in recent years in the real estate market here in Maryland is we are seeing a higher percentage of sellers just delist their homes, right? So this is something that's important. Sometimes buyers will come in and they will see a home that's been sitting on the market a while, and they'll just want to be very, very aggressive on starting low on price and all that, and all that makes sense. 100%. But what we are sometimes seeing is we're seeing that, running into kind of a block wall with some of these sellers. If the seller is not in a position where they desperately need to sell, we're seeing a lot of those sellers be firm on, maybe some wiggle room on their price, but not coming down as much as a buyer would hope and expect them to. So instead, if a seller's not getting that price that they want, eventually, when enough time has run its course, if they're on the market for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever that may be, they are just coming off the market if they can't get the price that they want, right? So this is important because, of course, what do you need to make a real estate deal happen, right? You need a willing and able buyer. At the same time, you need a willing and able seller. So maybe they want to sell, but they're only willing to take a certain price, right? So sometimes we're not having a meeting of the minds on those homes that have been on the market a little longer, and the seller's just coming off the market. So again, this is just and what does that do? That just squeezes inventory even more. So then there's less options available because that seller's going to maybe they take a 3 to 6 month break. Maybe they don't come on in the foreseeable future again at all. So, all these things, again, even though we're having elements of the market where it's inflationary with higher interest rates, you got higher gas at the pump, all these things, cost of life continuing to kind of increase a little bit. But at the same time, if you are in the marketplace to buy a home, you're seeing fewer and fewer options. So again, it's just kind of that balancing act where one side of the equation is not letting the other side of the equation do what you might think it ordinarily would do. So you would ordinarily think all-time high prices, super elevated interest rates, okay, prices are coming down. In some markets, maybe that's happening, but at least in Central Maryland, we're kind of seeing pricing stay pretty steady. And again, if that seller is coming in and they're underpricing their home 5 to 7%, because they know the market, limited inventory. So if a seller's coming in and they're underpricing their home 5 to 7%, you're almost going to see multiple offers very often on a home like that if a seller is taking that approach. So if you are a buyer in the marketplace, it is still best, even today, as we approach middle of 2026, it's still best to be prepared as you step into this marketplace to see multiple offers, be potentially prepared for competition, and kind of discuss with your realtor what you're comfortable with in that regard. So these are conversations that I'm having with a lot of people, is just, hey, hopefully you don't have to step into competition, but this is still something we're seeing. Here's what you want to be prepared for, knowing what you're able to do, knowing what you're willing to do, so we can have a game plan going into that. And if you're a seller, just knowing, the market, there's still several elements of the market that are in your favor given the limited inventory. And then just if you're a home seller, the ones that are most realistic on their price, starting a little below where the market is, that's going to be putting sellers in a position where you're going to be likely receiving multiple offers in this marketplace. So that's what I'm seeing today. I will continue to keep you all updated on what I'm noticing, what I'm seeing in the marketplace. If you ever have any real estate questions or need anything at all, please feel free to reach out however you are most comfortable, and we'll see you at the next video.